I am here with Coach Stef and Coach Dan from NC State University in Raleigh, and I am so excited for them to get to share some of their story with you and all about the Wolfpack and some amazing things happening over there. Just a couple of incredible people, where we aim to highlight inspiring people doing amazing things in the Swim Strong family and in the greater swim community. But before we dive into that, Steph, Dan, we have to do our rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. First question. You get to have dinner with any celebrity in the world. Who are you picking?
I go with Albert Einstein.
Whoa. All right.
I want to go LeBron.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Favorite candy bar?
Ooh, do Reese's Cups count?
Yep.
All right, there we go.
Easy.
I'm pretty much the same mold. Snickers would probably be a close second.
Okay. Reese's are, I mean, especially like the Halloween and Christmas edition ones, the trees and the pumpkins. Those are good stuff.
Eggs
all right.
On Easter as well.
Yeah, don't forget.
True. That's true.
Those might be the best, to be honest.
That's true. Next rapid fire question is favorite cartoon character of all time.
I was big into Tom and Jerry as a kid. I think I gotta go Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
You can't go one. You have to go both.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess SpongeBob.
Okay, more modern there too. Good. Okay, if you guys had to survive on a deserted island with two people from NC State that give you the best chance of survival, who are you picking?
Okay, Jeff, our athletic trainer for sure. The omelet lady at Case.
How does that do us any good on a dessert island?
She probably cooks
What kind of stuff do we have at our fingertips that we're going to make?
Well, fruit, like fruit
Okay.
salad.
She's got some skills.
Jeff's got to be on there,
Yeah.
right? Because you never know what's going to happen. Honestly, I think Braden, just because Braden's pretty crafty.
Okay.
He's got those dad skills. It's pretty good around the house. We might need to concoct some shelter. I think he'd be a pretty good option in that regard.
I love the picks there. Shout out to the omelet lady. You gotta show her this podcast. All right. So if you were not a swim coach, what career path would you be doing right now?
When I was in college, I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. So I think it was always coaching no matter what. Yeah.
Strength side of things, though. How about you, Dan?
Honestly, as boring as this sounds, probably sales. I feel like our jobs sometimes are a little like sales, where worst case scenario, that's probably not a bad secondary thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities in that. It's like business, like doing business. There's like a world of opportunities if you have those skills. So last but not least, what's your favorite thing about the Swim Strong program?
I think you guys have just been very accessible, and like the planning side of everything has been awesome, but just the relationship that you guys have been building with our team has been really cool too. So that's my favorite.
Love it.
I think the community has always stood out, right? Even before we were working with you guys, that was something that was pretty evident right from the beginning, just how much you guys care. And then since we've been working with you guys in the dryland perspective side of things, just the functionality of everything that we're having our athletes do. I think it's translating really well into the pool, especially from a core standpoint, right? Just the functionality of being able to use their entire body through building that area, I think has been really good.
That's awesome. We appreciate that. Appreciate that, guys. And we love being a part of the Wolfpack family. You guys are absolutely incredible. Did an amazing job with the rapid fire questions, and we'll go ahead and get into the meat of it now. So thanks for taking the time to be on here, first of all. And I want, if you guys can just give, this would be a little tough, but just give a little 1-2 minute background into how you got into coaching in the first place, just kind of like your introduction into the coaching world, so people can get a sense of each of your journeys that led you to NC State. And we can start with Steph.
Yeah. So my mom was actually my coach growing up until I went to college, and just seeing the impact that she had on my peers and the kids that were younger than me, I kind of wanted that. And when I was going through college, I thought it was going to be through strength and conditioning. And then I was working on my master's, and I was a volunteer at my alma mater. I was a volunteer for my high school team. I was working full time with my mom as her assistant, doing their strength and conditioning program. And once I was on the other side of the pool deck, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to be doing. So getting a taste of it in college, volunteering at my alma mater, Grove City College, kind of went through it, and I wanted more, and took a chance and came down here and worked at a swim camp, and things just went well, and here we are. So that's awesome. Kind of the beginning. And awesome. Now here we go.
Yeah. Dan, how about yourself?
Yeah. I was like a pretty good age group swimmer, and then like started to tail off, right? As I got older, being 5'7" on a good day probably doesn't really help the cause there. And so like quickly tried to kind of help my teammates and enjoyed that aspect of things. I grew up in Chicago and would spend the summers like lifeguarding and doing like, country club level coaching. Mm-hmm. It was always something that I enjoyed. And as I was kind of finishing college, I went to Wisconsin Stevens Point. So swam D3, and I was business major for my undergrad. Didn't really know what I was going to do as I was kind of finishing things up. And so like I was finishing my fourth year, and I was like, okay, this summer I'm going to go like work a swim camp and give back to the sport one more time. And then I'm going to be done. And then I'm going to go get a real job. I went down to work that camp, and I met a lot of really good people, kind of opened my eyes up to what college coaching is, and was something that I was kind of interested in pursuing at that point. So I spent a year coaching club outside Chicago. And then after that year, I kind of got into college coaching, first as a grad assistant for a year. And then I spent 2 years at MIT as an assistant. And the second year when I was at MIT was when I came here to NC State to work swim camp. So just like Stef, and kind of opened my eyes and mind up to what this world is. And the type of people, the type of environment. And so got to know the staff here, got to know Braden, and an opportunity opened up and came on, and I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. Something that has always struck me about the NC State coaching staff is the community there, and how personal each of you are with the athletes is a lot more than just about the sport. And which obviously you guys do the sport at a high level. You coach at an extremely high level, consistently one of the best programs in the nation, men's and women's. But for me, and I want to hear more in this area, because I think people are really interested in this right now with a lot of people going through the recruiting process. There are quite a few fake people in the recruiting world. And you kind of mentioned it, Dan, like it is kind of like every team is giving their pitch, right? Like sales for like why you should join this team for the athletes that people want. But some people are extremely genuine and some people are not. And that was the thing that always struck me about NC State before we were partnered, before anybody even really knew what Swim Strong was. NC State coaches always treated me like family, and were always so kind, always gave me the time of day before we were anything. And that to me says way more about people's character, how you treat people when you don't know who they are, how you treat people when you don't get the things that you want. A recruit doesn't go to your school. How do you respond? And that's something that I've always, since meeting you all and having a lot of athletes go through the recruiting process, I just want kids to end up in a spot where people genuinely care about them as people. And sadly, that doesn't happen way more often than it should. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that, if that was part of the reason why you chose NC State as coaches, and then just a little bit about that culture for people going through the recruiting process right now, how do you see through fake people? Which is a hard question to ask because I think it's, you get a 2-day recruiting visit, but how can you help athletes see through BS? Is a big question I think a lot of kids want help with. So I don't know who wants to take that first, but
yeah, I think there's a lot of layers there, right? I think what we try to do is we don't know how to be anything but who we are and ourselves. Like we don't have a facade. Like when you're around our program, we are not changing based off it being a recruiting weekend, right? Like our pool deck stays the same, right? And for us, we want that to be the case because we don't want to lead possible student athletes astray with what they're getting themselves into. There's a lot of great people in this sport, and there's a lot of fast swimmers, and NC State is going to be for some of them, and for some people it's not going to be. And we want to try to give them the best understanding of who we are, what we do well, and how we can help them grow, especially as humans, as we kind of show them what we have to offer. And we tell our team that too. We don't want them to be fake in the process, right? Like, be honest, be open. There's things that we do really well. There's things that we don't do so well. And I think that's fair to say for every program out there. As far as wading through fake people, I think the best way to do it is asking the questions, right? Asking the tough questions that you know are going to be important to you and what you want with the program, with the people that you're surrounding yourself, with what you value as a human being. And that comes from asking the coaches, that comes from asking the student athletes, and watching the interactions. I think as a recruit, when you're on a pool deck, you can see a lot between the interactions between the student athlete and the coaches, and how genuine they are. And, I think that's what we try to really focus on here is like the relationships. How do we build them? How do we make sure that when things are going the wrong way, we curb it and help get us back on track? And then being honest and open about where we can be better and how do we grow as a program every single year.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think viewing people's interactions is really helpful to like how, and even like coming on a random weekend, coming to a swim meet, seeing how people interact on deck, see what a practice looks like, or asking athletes who are on the team. I think that's huge. Like, what is it like day to day? How different was your recruiting visit versus your actual experience? Those are really good questions. And I like how you said asking hard questions too, like things that like, a lot of people might get uncomfortable with asking a what if question. I've never had a question that NC State coaches were afraid to approach or to answer honestly. And I've always appreciated that. We hope you're enjoying this week's podcast. We want to take a quick break to shout out our sponsors. Attention all high school and club swimmers and divers. Are you ready to take your talents to the next level and dive into the collegiate scene? Look no further than ACC Recruiting, your premier destination for college swimming and diving recruitment education. At ACC Recruiting, we specialize in connecting student athletes with the perfect collegiate programs that match their skills and academic aspirations. Our experienced team will guide you through the recruitment process, providing personalized support every stroke of the way. Don't let your dreams sink. Visit ACC Recruiting today and make a splash in your future. Dive into success with ACC Recruiting, where champions are born. Visit our website now or call us at 314-518-8844. That's 314-518-8844. ACC Recruiting, your gateway to collegiate swimming and diving excellence. Resistance bands are a must-have for dry land. Elite Athlete Power Band kits are designed to give you a cost-effective way to improve performance and reduce the risk of injury. These high-quality kits last longer and are versatile enough to provide total body workouts anywhere, anytime. The levels of resistance are ideal for progressing youth athletes without weight increases that are too large. Go to the link provided on the Swim Strong Dryland website, click on the training tab, and search equipment suggestion lists and get your elite athlete resistance bands today. Steph, you actually told me something recently with some of the girls who have committed. Just one of the things that you speak with the parents about, just wanting their athletes to feel like it's a second home and like that their kids are going to be taken care of. Can you talk a little bit about that heartbeat that you want people to know? Like, if you come here, this is what you can expect our heart to be for you.
Yeah. I think that the biggest thing for us is we coach the person first and the athlete second. And that just will spiral from, okay, you're stressed out because you have 2 exams this week. All right, we won't see you tomorrow morning. Like, don't take the morning off, sleep. So I think that we want people to know that we care about them, not just their performances in the pool. Some of these kids, like, obviously I want them to swim fast and I want to do that part of my job well, but some of them might not ever go a best time again because that's just how the sport is. It's crazy. But if they're happy, then we've done our job. We've treated them well. We've gotten them ready for what comes next in life. And we care so much more about that than how fast they're going in practice that day. Right. And I think that just the way we treat people is where that all stems from.
And you guys obviously have a culture of high performance and a history of being extremely successful. So I do think those two things go hand in hand. When you genuinely care about people, you can connect with them on a different level, and they're going to trust the coaching and that you have their best interest in mind, and that you are taking your time to do everything you can to give them the best when it comes to their training. Can you talk a little bit about the culture of performance, the mindset that an athlete needs to have if they are going to be a part of the Wolfpack? Like, hey, this is what we do, this is how we work, and this is the attention to detail that goes into our programming. What does that look like if you're a part of the pack?
I think that we thrive. We're blue collar is kind of the mentality from a work ethic standpoint. We challenge our team to push beyond their limits. I think what really stood out to me originally when I met Braden was like how well he does holding athletes accountable to what a standard is. And I think that part is filtered throughout the entire program, regardless of like who your primary lead coach is. Like, if you're going to succeed at this level, like there are points in workouts where you're going to have to see certain things to be at that level. Right. And if you're not performing there, the expectation can't be here. It has to be down to where your performance levels is. So I think having the relationship side, being able to say like, hey, so-and-so, you're not performing on a daily basis to the level that it's going to take to make the ACC team, make an A final, make NCAAs, right? Whatever the goal is for that specific athlete, that's something that he does really well. And I think as a byproduct, our program does really well. Having the relationship there, I think, is a big component of that, right? Because we can communicate with them on a daily basis about, hey, that's not good enough. And they're not taking it the wrong way, right? They're constantly able to be like, okay, you're right. I got to be better. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
So I think that part stood out for me for a long time. And like, if you're happy and you work hard, and you're being held accountable to perform at a high level, usually that's when good things happen performance-wise.
That culture that you mentioned of that starts with Braden and goes to the coaching staff, do you find that trickling down to the athletes, that culture of accountability where they want each other to hold each other to that standard? They don't take things personally when they're not doing something well, but it's just a kind of iron sharpens iron environment? Or what do you see with the athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. They sometimes it's more I guess it gets competitive on our pool deck, right? And you've got a guy like Stephen Conrad. We're doing a massive long course kick set last week on Thursday. challenging Daniel Deal in the lane beside him to go faster, who's actually just gone like his best time in a 100 long course kick. But Stevie's like, no, come on, let's go. I need you to be better. And Deal's like, all right, you're right. So they say you're right, okay, a lot to each other. Like, all right, I'll do it. All right, I'll do it. And that's been really cool. I think that this year specifically, they've evolved that and kind of going more hand in hand with each other.
That's legit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have, this is a bit of a subject shift, but do you guys have any like favorite memories from swim meets, current or past, like just something that you hold as like, this is one of the coolest memories I've had, or it could be in a practice or an inspiring moment or something? Just, I'm sure there's a lot, but anything that comes to mind immediately when you're just like, this is one of my favorite moments that I've up to this point in my coaching career.
It's hard because there's been a lot since I've been here, since Stef has been here. Both the ACC and NCAA meets, you know, they usually are the ones that provide some of those oh my god moments. I'll give you one from both the women and the men since I've been here. So I've been here 2017, 18 was my first season. So on the men's side, that first NCAA championship when I was here, we won our first individual title, and that was Coleman Stewart out of lane 1 at Minnesota's pool. I was a volunteer at the time, and I was up in the stands filming.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you go back and watch that video, it's 5 deep. Like, you don't know who's going to win the race until the very last second.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm filming, and I'm watching the finish, and like I look up to see who won, and he won, and like then the camera kind of goes like this because I'm jumping up and down like a crazy person up in the stands. But so that was the first title we won that meet, and then we went on to win. The first individual title, and then we went on to win the mile the next day and the 200 fly the next day, and we finished off with the 400 free relay that night, and also the 8 free relay we had won earlier in the meet. So it was just like one of those holy crap meets when we had a lot go right, and was just really, really fun to be a part of. 2019 at ACCs, our women won 2 out of 3 ACC championships. They won in 2017. They lost in 2018. 2019, they won again. So the mantra for them was kind of, they wanted to take it back, was what they used that year. We went 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 400 IM at ACCs that year.
That's crazy.
That was one of the moments that, I think we kind of knew that we were in the meet and we had a chance, and we kind of started to turn the corner of like, okay, this might go our way. The energy that was on the pool deck after that point was second to none. And I think a lot of times for us as a program, it's about momentum. When good things happen at the start of a session, people start swimming fast, it's like next one and the next one and the next one. And then you're like, oh my God, what just happened in that session? Right. And that was one of those sessions, just like for the men in 2018 at NCAAs, where it was like, hey, we're hot, and you're rolling and you're swimming well, and some swims that you don't necessarily think are going to happen are being thrown down across the program.
That's cool. Those are cool memories to have, and to even from, holy cow, 2018 is almost 7 years ago now. To have the vivid memories of that, it's cool how it sticks in your brain. Stef, do you have any that come to mind?
Yeah, similar. 2 seasons ago, for the men, it was Saturday at NCAAs, and things were trucking, and Willie G comes out swinging and wins the mile, and Ross is right there with them, and it was awesome to watch the 2 of them do what they did, but it was honestly more inspiring to me watching Mark Bernardino and his reaction to whenever we knew that Will wasn't going to lose. That was like, I want to have a moment like that in my career. And that was really cool. And then that whole session, it was the same thing, snowball effect. Aiden Hayes turns around, wins the 200 fly. And we just had an awesome session. And, we kind of use those moments on Saturday morning at practice. Like, championships are won on Saturday morning. So we talk all the time about that and how great it feels whenever you're there Saturday night, just doing the dirty work, right? Getting it all done. And then last year at NCAAs with the women, we'd been joking around with Kennedy Noble, Emma Muzzy, fill in 200 backstroker name here to break the school record from Alexia Zevnik. And Kennedy finally came out and she got it. And it just felt great. And then actually the best part was when she didn't win, she was second. And she came over and she was like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to freaking win this thing. So that was inspiring because then we had an awesome summer leading into Olympic trials. And I have never seen a girl do so many like, oh, you're a bad woman kind of thing. And I was just ready to be there with her and her teammates. And she kind of led the charge, and that was really cool and very, very inspiring. So I guess with her, it's not just one specific moment, but just what she was able to accomplish.
Yeah. It's cool that pretty much everything that you guys just shared had to do with energy, reactions of the team, snowball effect, and how like certainly great performances that like spurred a lot of these things on, but the memories are the moments, the energy, the connections you felt, all of the work that had been put in, and just being happy for people. It's pretty cool. And I mean, you guys had an American record this past year. I mean, you guys have done so many different things that like it's impossible to just pick like one, moment, which so I appreciate you guys just sharing that. But it's always cool to hear people's hearts and what you remember from those incredible experiences. And there's just so many more to come. I think people don't realize how connected their coaches really are to them, and how much when you invest so much, like when you talked about Steph, just when you're going through that gritty Saturday practice, like you're thinking about the moments, like you're fighting for those just few moments. You put in years and years of work for those few moments for people to get to experience, be inspired by, and it's all the stuff that leads up to those moments that makes it special, and then what you learn from everything that you did to get there. So I just think that's really cool to hear. And if you are a swim athlete or swim coach, you understand how much of a grind this sport really is, and so it just makes it special going through it with one another. But if you could say your favorite part just about coaching at NC State, there's a lot of different places you guys could have chosen. You guys have each been coaching there for a while now. A lot of times you see a lot of turnover on staffs. People aren't necessarily like looking to stay for more than a year if they go somewhere. You guys have had a pretty consistent staff with just phenomenal people, and it seems to continue to grow. And what would you say, like in terms of like coaching at NC State, your favorite part of being a coach there, why it's meaningful to you, what made you want to be there consistently? And we can start with Dan this time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think the people are the biggest component of that. Just high quality human beings on our staff, within our program. I think that when you're surrounded by like-minded people who want to achieve at the highest level, it gives you desire to get up every morning and do it at a high level yourself. And so that's kind of what I wake up to every day, of like that drive of, okay, 1% better. And I think our staff does a good job of kind of living that mantra. The energy that we have here is a lot of fun. I don't know how Braden does it, to be honest. Like, the guy has 4 kids and he shows up every morning and it's like nonstop, right? And when you have your leader who brings that much to the table every day, you can't not be operating at that level. And so that has been something that I've really enjoyed. I get to be around great people. I learn something new from someone every single day. And we have a team that is bought in, a lot of fun to be around, and are genuinely good people. So for me, that's why, like, there's no reason to go anywhere because of all those things.
That's awesome. How about for you, Steph?
Yeah, I think that I enjoy the energy that's on the pool deck, and just I'm allowed to be myself. I'm not the most extroverted person on the planet, and that's okay. But I'm very sarcastic, and the staff handles that well, and so it's just a good fit for me. But my favorite thing is just the relationships that we're able to have with each other, with athletes, with the staff, and sharing those moments when the success is there, and also the low moments when maybe there is a miss, and trying to motivate and inspire, and not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, what do we need to do better for you? And I think that it's great. We don't just write people off. We spend time and we figure it out. We don't give up on people here. And I think that's probably the thing that has stuck out to me the most.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And appreciate you guys sharing that and giving some insight into your specific heart behind what you do, and giving people a bit of a behind the scenes view of what it looks like to be a part of the program at NC State. And also I can attest to the energy of Braden just from visiting during one of the dual meets that you guys had, and seeing him hop up on a giant box and screaming all kinds of motivational things to the kids before at like 6 a.m. or whatever time it was when we started on Saturday. And probably wasn't that early, but anyway, it was inspiring. And it's like, there's a lot of work that goes into that, and heard some really fun, crazy stories. And I'm wondering if we could finish with your favorite Braden story, a favorite memory that you have, most goofy thing, funny thing, exciting, whatever comes to mind. I've heard so many that are just incredible. I'm wondering if you have one that comes to mind that's your Braden story. So, Dan, I don't know if you have one immediately, if you need a minute to think.
Oh, do you have one off the top of your head?
No. Not there's something every day that I can't think of just one.
Okay, I'll give a recent one. I'll give you.
Go for it.
Okay, so we had our mid-season invite a few weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. We had a guy on our team who basically the decision was made that, hey, this is going to be your last meet, right? Like, he's having some trouble with his back. We're going to have this be your last meet. We're going to go out in front of your teammates in Greensboro. Everyone's going to have your back. It's going to be a great way for you to finish your career. So this guy, he kind of he's on the 100, the 200, the 500 at this meet. And when he swims, he's 6'4", and he just kind of he throws his hand really hard and really over the top. And so the joke we kind of were running with at that meet is he's like a snake. He's we were calling him Cobra. And so this is starting to happen during the 200 freestyle on Friday night. So he goes best times, both prelims and finals. And after we finish the meet every night, we go back to the hotel, we eat, and then Braden will kind of give a speech, throw some shout outs, and kind of get us ready for the next day. And so, have you ever seen the movie Dodgeball?
I have.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Ben Stiller and crew in Dodgeball kind of have a dance as they walk out, because I believe that they're the gym is the Cobras. So Braden and Kessler and Kevin were behind him, and Braden waits the last shout out of the night, and the three of them got up in front of the team and did the dance from that.
That is awesome.
If you ask Erica, she probably videotaped it. Put it in with this podcast.
I will. I'll ask her if she has that. That would be so epic. That's amazing.
That's who he is, right? This is a guy that has gone through some heartache during his time here, right? Probably didn't work out 100% the way he wanted to finish his career, but at that meet, and when there was an opportunity to give him the shout out, the shine that he deserved, that's what our team's going to remember from that meet, right? Is like, yeah, we swam well and we had NCAA cuts and we are setting ourselves up for later in that year, but they're going to remember the fact that his name's Aiden Fuller. Aiden Fuller got the nickname Cobra, and Stef was dancing at the team dinner that night, right? So that's awesome. Just who Braden is.
That's so awesome. Steph, do you have any that come to mind?
Oh, there's so much. I think that I'm going to say the Bradenisms. He'll get on something for a little bit and then he'll switch it to something new. Like, I could sit here for 20 more minutes and tell you different stories about him. Awesome. But my favorite thing is just whatever it is that he's doing that week to get whoever needs a lift up. And sometimes it's us. Like, sometimes it's us, and he'll do that with us too. And that's awesome.
That's so cool. And everything trickles down, right? Like it's the culture, like it starts at the top, and to be able to have that type of leader of the program, to have you guys as leaders of the program, the whole staff that you have, it's a blessing for the athletes. And I know you guys feel the same way, that you have phenomenal athletes who you're blessed to have too. And so, you know, you guys learn from each other, make each other better. And I think it's something that makes NC State special, and that made it a no-brainer for us to take the opportunity to partner with y'all. So we're so thankful for the Wolfpack family. I'm thankful for you guys taking the time to be on here and share some insights about your story and the program, and just so many behind the scenes looks that people maybe didn't have any idea were happening there in Raleigh. So thank you, Steph, Dan, for taking the time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch a new episode each Monday. You can also check us out on social media at SwimStrong Dryland. If you would like to join the SwimStrong family, visit our website at swimstrongdryland.com.